Hi, this is Brian with ActiveMelody.com. Well, for this week's guitar lesson, we're going fingerstyle. So put your picks away this week and follow along with this. This is not super hardcore. This is not Chet Atkins or Merle Travis. It's more of a percussive, rhythmic fingerstyle, but there's a lot that you can learn. Even if you're a fingerstyle player, there'll be something for you in this lesson. It's a minor key blues. I'm playing this in B minor, although you could play this in any key because there's no open string, so it's very easy to transpose. And it works great on acoustic or electric guitar. Also, it's a standalone composition. You don't need to get a jam track or any of that, so just grab whatever guitar you've got and follow along. I've got the lesson split into 2 videos. In this video, we'll take a look at the first half. If you'd like to watch the second video and access the tablature and the on-screen tab viewer for this lesson, you can get those things by going to ActiveMelody.com, go to the weekly lessons page, and do a search for EP283. Alright, so let's talk about the structure of this song from a chord perspective. It's very simple. There's 3 chords. We have a B minor 7 chord, we have a E minor 7 chord, and then we have an F sharp 7 chord. And what's really cool about the voicing of these chords is they're all played together in a little box here. It makes it very easy to play. I can keep this bar down for the first 2 chords. And it also makes it easy to transpose this if I wanted to play in a different key. I can just move up or down the neck. There's no open strings used, and it just makes it easy to transpose. So let's start off with that B minor 7 chord. Easy chord to make. You just bar all 6 strings on the 7th fret. If you're Steve Vai, you can bar all 7 strings, but bar those 6 strings. Put your ring finger down on the 9th fret, 5th string, and then that's a B minor 7 chord. It's the same as a B minor chord. You just take your pinky out of the equation. Okay, keep the bar down, and now put your middle finger down on the 8th fret 2nd string and your ring finger on the 9th fret 4th string. Now we're going to play the 5 strings. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's your E minor 7. So if you're B minor 7, you're E minor 7. Think of that as a minor 1 chord and a minor 4 chord. That's how I think of it. And you can remember this going forward now. You have these 3 chords, your minor 1, your minor 4, and then your major 5, which works nicely together. All in the same little box. Okay, so those are your first 2 chords. That last one is the same voicing as, or you play it the same way as you do a C7 chord that you might learn down in first position. You just slide that up. You're only playing your middle 4 strings, but your index finger is on that same fret where the bar was for the first 2 chords. That's how you can easily visualize playing this chord now with the other 2. So you just put your index finger on the 2nd string, 7th fret, and then these 3 fingers make up that D7 chord shape. And that is your F sharp 7 chord. And you can see now they all fit together in one little box. I don't even have to look at my hands to be able to feel and play those. Alright, so now let's talk about the rhythm section. So we have the bass notes that are playing in one place, and then you have these percussive strums, or like muted strums that are happening. The muted strums are always happening on the 2 and the 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, always in the 2 and 4. And it's not always a muted strum, but it's more of a, sometimes it's more of a percussive strum. It sounds a little different, like a snare drum would be playing. The bass note, however, and you're always using your thumb for the bass, remember that when you're playing fingerstyle, the bass notes are always going to be either on the 6th string or on the 5th string. But the first time through, you play the bass note on the 1 and the and of 2. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The second time you play on the 1 and the 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And that's the cadence for the whole thing. And you just keep going back and forth between those 2 styles. It sounds complicated, but I'm telling you, once you get into this, you won't even be counting that or thinking about it. I didn't even think about it until I had to break it down to explain it in a lesson, and then I realized that's what was going on. So let me demonstrate that. I'm going to play the bass notes along with those muted strums so you can hear how they work together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and So you can see that there's a little bit of a hit, playing ahead of the beat every other measure. All right, that's probably complicating things, and I just wanted to point it out. You're not going to think that way once we get into putting it all together, though. Now remember, if you're a premium member, you have access to the tablature, and the tablature is really handy when you're trying to dissect this stuff, because I've got all the muted strums, I've got it all notated. If you're not a premium member, you can follow along, you can write, take notes here in this first video, or whatever you've got to do. Okay, so we're going to start off with this slide, and it happens from somewhere down in the low end, and I slide up to the 7th fret, which is on the 6th string there. And I got that that's like in the Sheryl Crow song, I think. Can't remember which one. But anyway, we're sliding into place. And then once I do that, I go ahead and make that B minor 7 chord, which I've showed you how to do. And again, I'm using the back of my fingernail, so it goes like this. Now after that, I play the bass note again, which is the 6th string. So you have 1 and 2 and, okay, and then after that, I keep this bar down, keep the chord down rather, and then I put my pinky down on the 10th fret 2nd string, and then I release it. So that's what the melody is. So all together you have, and then there's another muted strum at the end of that. Let me play through that slowly. That's the first chord, or the 1 chord, the minor 1 chord. All right, now we go to the 4 chord, or the minor 4 chord. We're going to keep the bar down. We're going to rearrange these 2 fingers to make that E minor 7 chord like I showed you. And then we're going to play this. So let me show you that melody. It's just, it's like Faragaka, right? And I'm using my ring finger on the 2nd string and the 1st string. So all of the melody is being played with my ring finger like this. So I keep that chord down, I play the 2nd string, and then I play the bass note, which this time it's going to be on the 5th string because we've changed chords now. Pinky goes back down on the 10th fret 2nd string, so we have, there's a muted strum. So let's do those 4 things. We have, okay, now we're going to play the 1st string, the bass note again, and then the 2nd string. So all together we have, and then there's another muted strum at the end of that. Sounds complicated. Again, if it's you've got the tablature, it makes it a lot easier to go real slow and just to make sure you get all those parts. But once you get the flow going, it starts to make sense and it starts to feel right. I know it feels awkward in the beginning. All right, let's start from the beginning again. We have, those are the first 2 chords. Now we're going to go, there's actually I'm going to play the open G string. I put that in the tablature, that open 3rd string, and I played that with my index finger. And then I go, and that's just more of just a percussive thing to let me do something while I have to take my hand off the fretboard. So we have, right there. And then I'm going to make that F sharp 7 chord. Let me show you how to do that. So we're starting with our thumb on the 5th string again. That's your bass note. Back of your fingernails to play that percussive 2 in the measure. And then we go back to the bass, and to do that, my index finger slides up. So I keep these 3 fingers down, but my index finger slides up to the 8th fret 2nd string, and then it goes back to the 7th fret. So it goes, and then there's another muted strum at the end of that. Now, one other thing to point out is sometimes I'm hitting 2 strings when I'm playing the melody, and it still works because I'm holding the chord down. So for example, you can hear when I played those notes, I was hitting 2 strings. Now I didn't do that in the tablature, and you can do it either way, but I wanted to point that out because, like I said, you've got the chord down, you're going to be playing notes that harmonize with each other, and it's just kind of an easy way to do that. You just have to be a little more aggressive when you're playing the melody. So over this 5 chord, might have done it that way as well. And again, I'm playing those 2 strings instead of 1. Either way sounds good though. Okay, so after that chord, then I go back to the B, or the 1 chord, the minor 1 chord. Now I'm actually playing a full B minor chord this time. I should have mentioned that. This is, so I guess there's technically 4 chords. So I've got my pinky down now on the 7th fret 4th string, and that allows me to play this note. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to start off, once we make the B minor chord, we're going to play a ring finger on the 2nd string and then our thumb on the 6th string at the same time. Middle finger plays the 3rd string. And then I hit, when I go down, I'm using the back of my fingernail to hit that 4th string. So it goes like this. And you'll notice that I'll also accidentally kind of bump that 5th string. And that works too. It actually just adds to that percussive thing. So I just repeated that. Alright, let's back up. Let's put it all together now and play through that. I'll do it slowly. So we have... Now we're going to go back and we're going to repeat. We'll go back to the 1 chord, the minor 1. So I'm going to go ahead and take my pinky off out of that B minor chord. Now it's the same feel, same cadence, but we've changed the melody just a little bit. So now I'm playing on the 1 string. That's all I'm doing, just the 1 string. So I play that, and that's behind the bar there on the 7th fret. My pinky now goes down on the 9th fret 1st string, and then it slides up to the 10th fret 1st string. So you have... Now what I love about this is, while that's ringing out, I can take these 2 fingers off and put them down to make the E minor 7 chord. And to me, that's like the coolest thing in this whole thing, is because you've got this note ringing out. So let me do it. And you can hear how it's so smooth. It sounds like there's almost like a full band playing it. So it sounds like this. You can see I've just got my pinky there on the 10th fret 1st string, then take it off. Okay, and then we go back to the 5 chord, and then I threw in a little lick there. So I played the 5 chord just once. Bass note, 2nd string, muted strum, and then... And all I did there was I pictured the minor pentatonic scale pattern 2. So if you think about, we're playing the minor, we're playing a B minor. So pattern 1 would be there. Pattern 2 would be up here. And all I did was started there on the 2nd string, 12th fret, and then my middle finger goes down on the 11th fret, 3rd string. It does a quick slide to get us back into pattern 1. So that's going from pattern 2 to pattern 1. So that's the 9th fret, 7th fret on the 3rd string. And then ring finger goes down on the 7th fret, 4th string. So now while that note is ringing out, I go ahead and I play that with my ring finger so that I can make the bar, and I can go ahead and come up here and play the 7th fret 6th string. So, and that allows me to conclude that rhythm. And by the way, I'm using my index finger and my thumb to pick out that melody. So I started by plucking with my index finger, and that's done with my thumb. And then I go back into that B minor 7 chord. That's the first half. So let's put it all together now, and I'll play through it one more time slowly, and then I'll see you in part 2 for the rest of it, where we go into this whole other section. It's got a little more of a lead part to it. But here we go.